Welcome to the dark side. What do you think of that? Was that pretty cool? What?
Sure. Okay, so as you see here, we have.
Good gracious, what is that? It looks like pre-primary work. Are we going back in time? Are you like 7 years old? What the devil has happened?
So, this is in fact not pre primary and it is Java. So, as you see here, we're rendering some simple Java shapes. We have a cube, a beveled cube, an oval, and a circle.
So I presume this is an introductory course in Java, like your first little mini course on Java.
Yeah, it's quite easy to expand so you can add more shapes.
Okay, what about, why are you doing this? Did you want to do an intro? Were you interested in Java? What was the point of doing Java?
No, I actually just tried Java and I figured out that the 2D version is actually quite simple to use.
Okay, and I suppose when you look online, um, Java and C Sharp are quite close. How did you find did you find that there were any differences? What inspired you to do Java or intro? How old are you in Java?
I'm about 2 days old. In Java, it's quite actually simple and very similar to C Sharp. So the if statements are the same, variables are the same, the types are nearly all the same. Yeah, it's quite similar.
Okay, so you can't really tell us much about what's going on. I suppose you can uh, just show us how fast you were able to. Basically, I think it's all about simplicity. How did you find, how simple was it to actually do anything in Java compared to C Sharp?
C Sharp is nice because it works with Unity, obviously, but the downside with C Sharp is it can't built-in render shapes, stuff like that, with colors.
So is that the reason why you decided to have a look at Java? If you had the choice between when you were starting, I think you started about 7 or 8 years old when programming. When you had the choice now looking back in hindsight, would you have chosen Java instead?
I actually think I still would have learned C Sharp because Unity is really cool. A couple primary colored shapes is cool also, but yeah.
So, okay, so what is the point to this little intro course you want to demonstrate right now?
Okay. Also, by the way, before I answer that, one more thing. Also, what's pretty cool is I used a random system. So every time I run this, you may have noticed all the colors are completely different. So each color is randomly chosen. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so now we're in IntelliJ. So the first thing we want to do is we have src. Okay, that's the source of our project. So that's where we're going to put all our Java files in. So we go right click, go new, make a Java class, and I'm going to name this main. Okay, into class, and just enter. There we go. Now we have our main.java. Okay, so first we want to make our first main method. So we have main method. This is going to call on start. To show you that, just to check it works, we can go system.out.print a line, okay, or ln, and we can put hello world. Okay, and if we just select the green arrow on our class, press play, and we can click run, and here we have hello world. Okay, so now we know it works now. Good. So let's first make a window. So a window in Java is called a JFrame. So we're going to go JFrame. Okay, it's a pre-imports Java ax.swing. Okay, so JFrame, that's what's necessary for JFrame. And we can just name this frame. That's our window. Okay, and we can set that to a new JFrame. And this is going to be the name of our window. So let's name it rendering shapes. There we go. I'm also just going to move it in its own method. So I'm going to have a public static, okay, public static JFrame. It's going to return a JFrame, generate window. There we go. Okay. Now inside here we can just paste our frame again. So the next thing I'm going to do is when you press the, if we check here, as you see, we have the red button, or in Windows it would be on the side, but we want to tell it what happens when we press that button. So we want to go frame dot set default close operation, okay, and we go put JFrame dot exit on close. There are a couple other things like do nothing on close where the close button won't work, but we don't want to do that. So we go exit on close. I'm also going to go frame dot set layout. So layout is useful because it lets you change how the shapes look when you scale it down, so the shapes will get smaller if you scale it. But for this, I'm just going to make it null. So, and I'm also going to make it, so I'm going to go frame dot set resizable to false, so we can't resize it. And I'm going to have to set the size. So there are two ways of doing it. We can go frame dot set preferred size and go new dimension and just put in how big you want. Okay, or you can make it as big as it can be. So we're going to go frame dot, okay, set extended state, okay, and we're going to go JFrame dot maximize both, okay, and I'll make it as large as it can be. And then we just go return the frame we made. So now in main we can just make a JFrame. Frame is equal to generate window. There we go. Next I'm going to go add shapes. Okay, this will be necessary later on, so we can just go show context actions and create a method. There we go. So I can leave that empty for now. And last, I'm going to go render window, and we're going to give it our frame. So here we created window, we generated window, and now we're going to render it. And we can just, there we go, create the method. So in render window, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to go frame dot pack, okay, and then finally frame dot set visible. And just set it to true so it actually shows the window. So if we press play here, you can do it here or here, but we're just going to do it here. Okay, and it's generating. And here we go. We have a new window named rendering shapes. Okay, it's a nice start. So now the last thing we need to do is we need to add some shapes. This is going to be the biggest step. So we're going to go back to IntelliJ. Okay, we can just stop it. There we go. And if we just go add shapes, go to our add shapes. Okay, so let's just close these. There we go. So I'm going to make a couple of things. In our add shapes, we're going to, there we go. Okay, I'm going to add a class. Okay, I'm going to add a couple classes. These are going to be static class, okay, and I'm going to name it, we can name it all the different shapes. So I have a couple shapes, rectangle, okay, and we must go extends a J panel, there we go. We're going to, we also got to move this class into our previous class, there we go. We're going to have a oval, okay, and we're going to have a beveled rectangle. Okay, there we go. So let's do our rectangle first. So for our rectangle, we're going to have a couple variables. We're going to have a private int, we're going to have pos x, okay, and pos y. I'm going to have a private dimension. There's a useful class that Java has built in, and it's like a vector too with Unity. However, it works with width and height. So, and a lot of the built-in Java methods use it. So you can just make a dimension, scale, and let's add a constructor, public rectangle, and the constructor will take in a couple of things: pos x, pos y, a dimension, which will be scale, and then finally color, okay, base color, and we can add a color. I forgot to add a color, private base color. There we go. Okay, and if we make an int, another cool thing, if we go show context actions, we can actually assign a parameter and it will do it for us. So we can just do that to all the variables. And this is essentially what we're going to do. We're just going to set this posx. So if you select it, you can actually see it referring to this. This.posx, which is this, is equal to posx, which in this case is this one, the constructor variable. And we're just doing it to all of them. Okay? And finally, we're going to go at override. So we're going to override a built-in method, protected void paint component. This is going to take in a graphics, which is G. Okay. We can then go, I'm going to add a super at the very start, dot, paint component G. Okay. I'm going to go G, which is our graphics by the way, dot. We're going to set the color of the shape here. So you can set our base color. And then finally, now this cool, we can go G dot full rect. We have rect, which does rectangles. We also have arc, we have an oval, we have a round rect that I'm actually going to use later on. And we have a couple 3D things, I believe. I haven't used them yet. But we can just go full and rect, just normal rect, not 3D rect. Okay, we're going to give it our just 0, 0. Okay, we're going to go scale dot width. Okay, and then we're going to go scale dot height, and we're accessing our dimension. Okay, and I completely forgot something also. We've got to set the position, so you go this dot set bounds. Okay, we've got to set it, and we're going to give it a pos x, a pos y, and our scale dot width, and our scale dot height. There we go, and I'll actually position it. Good. Okay, oh, I also forgot another thing. We just need to go and let's just remove that. Let's make it its own int, pos y, okay, and now we can add it. Whoops, okay, let's cancel. Let's just copy this and replace it. There we go. There we go. Okay, this should work now. So now we have a rectangle. So all we have to do is in our add shape, we need to go rectangle. We need to make an instance of the rectangle. So rectangle, we can name it whatever we want. It's equal to new rectangle. And we just need to set the parameters. So by the way, 0, 0, I actually got confused when I was first doing this kind of rendering shapes. 0, 0 isn't in the center of the screen as you might expect. It's actually in the top left corner over here. So just note that. Okay, so I'm going to make the pos x 100, the pos y 100. I'm going to go new dimension 198, 198. There we go. And then we want to set the color. So we can just do whatever color we want. You can even do if you want, you can even do a new color and set the RGB values. And the max value for an RGB, by the way, is 255. Let's just Command Z. Let's just do, for now, color dot red, let's say. Okay. And now, if we just go a frame, so we need to get our, we need to give it our frame, add shape. So we can give it a JFrame frame. We can go frame dot add, and we want to give it our rectangle. And you can do this for all your different shapes. Okay, good. And we need to give it a frame. And if we press play, it should actually render our first shape. And there we go. So now we have our shape. Now, it's quite simple to expand, but let's say you want different shapes than just this red square. So we need to go back to IntelliJ then. So now we actually have the code. It's actually quite simple to just make more shapes. All we have to do is select all this. We can just copy it, okay? And if you're doing this as a proper project, not just a tutorial like me, then you'll want to have it extend and have a base, and it's just a bit more dynamic than this. But for now, this will be fine. Okay, we need to rename the constructor because we copied it. Okay, we can rename the beveled rectangle. And now, if we have an oval, we can go G dot full oval. And sometimes for some shapes you need to change these, but this is fine. Okay, and the oval can also double up as a circle, which is nice. And we can just go G dot full, and we can choose round rect. This is a bit different. We need to give round rect, so a new variable. Now this will be a private int bevel amount. So by the way, you probably could have two values like bevel height and bevel width, which will make the bevel higher bevel and a wider bevel. But we're just going to make a normal bevel where the width and the height are the same. Okay, we can just give it that. Let's see what's wrong. Oh yes, we need to give it twice. There we go. And of course, add in another variable in here. We'll add an int bevel amount and the exact same thing as we did before. Okay, create a field, a sign, and there we go. And now, if we just scroll up to our add shapes, we can just, let's go enter so you can see the full thing. There we go. We can just copy this rectangle, okay, and let's do it for all the different kinds of shapes we might have. Okay, so we'll have our beveled rectangle, a rectangle, circle, and an oval. So we have a rectangle, a beveled rectangle, oval, and the oval and oval will be the same, but one will be a circle and one will be an oval. We have a rectangle, beveled rectangle, and we need to rename this, of course. Whoops. There we go, an oval for these two. And for a beveled rectangle, we need to give another parameter, which is the bevel amount, and we can just give it like 50. There we go. Okay, and now we just need to add a frame for all of these. Okay, 4 frames. So we can add a beveled rectangle. And as you can see, it's probably quite easy to make worlds or tile maps or stuff like that with this kind of system, and even new shapes. And there we go. Last thing we want to do is just quickly fill in all the shapes. Okay, so the rectangle will be the same position as it is currently. Then we have the beveled rectangle. Our pos x is 100, pos y 300. Oh, if you're wondering why I know this, I have all the values set already. Okay, and we have the, and I'll just quickly, I'll be back when I've done filling in all the values. Okay, I've done filling in the values. If you want to copy down the values, I can just show you. So here are all the values, and you can just pause the video for and copy them down. Okay, so if now we press play, stop and rerun, okay, and just wait a second, and here we have all our different shapes. We have a beveled rectangle, our rectangle, we have the circle, and oval. Okay, now let's color them. So I could just change the color to like a red or something like that and be done with it. But what I want to do is make the colors random. So every time you play it will be a completely different color. I'm going to make a public static get random color. We're going to give it a random instance of random. Okay. And a random, so essentially colors just have 0 to 255 as I said before, so we can just go return new color, so there we go, and so all I have to do is just go random dot next int, and the maximum value just has to be 255. Okay, and if I just copy, there we go. Okay, and semicolon. Oh, and I forgot to set the return type here. So we can just go get random color. Also in our main, we can have random. We're going to make a new random instance. Okay. And also what's cool with this is if you have a seed, let's say you're making a Java game with a seed. So a seed, Minecraft has seeds which changes the world generation. And you can have a seed that changes the colors. So if we made it, let's say 1, then every time you press play, it'll always use the 1 seed. So no matter what happens, if you choose 1, it will always be the same. So I don't want a seed, I just want it random, completely random. So I'm just going to do that. I'm also going to add random into our add shapes, and add shapes is going to input a random. Okay, and we can just replace our color.red. Okay, I can just replace color.red to get random color and give it random. Okay, I can just copy this now and paste it, and we've done. Okay, so now if we press play, there should be all random colors. And there we go. And just to show you, remember the sequence, so we have the pink and the dark blue next to dark blue. If we go back here, we stop and rerun, it's a completely different color sequence. Okay, this is the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!